Valorant objectively is not a good video game. However, people are willing to turn a blind eye to that, and I've always disliked Valorant for as long as possible, and I've wanted to be able to express that and reason with words. And I've kind of always, like this paper, I've always kind of gone lazy with it, and I never really like did too much with it. So today I'm going to be trying to express my dislike for Valorant into words and reasoning, more than words, I guess. And first, there's two aspects of Valorant that I want to talk about, or two aspects. One I'm going to focus more on, and one of the aspects is the casual aspect, and the second one is the competitive aspect. Essentially, how Riot caters to the casual fan base, and how Riot caters to the basically the esports side of the game. Now, my problem is not that Valorant is just bad. I mean, I do think Valorant is bad, but why do I think it's bad? My problem is that I think that Valorant tries to cater to both sides, the casual fan base and the competitive fan base, and as a result, it kind of cooks the game as a whole. Now, what are some ways that Valorant tries to cater to the casual fan base? Well, for one, skins, an insane amount of skins, agents, an insane amount of agents, maps, and yeah, that's the three. I mean, most of the revenue is based off of skins, and that's okay, but it feels like they spend more time on skins than, the game itself. Now, of course, the agents and maps can also cater to the professional scene, but when I feel like when the meta is so flimsy, I guess it's very it kind of cooks the professional scene. And I'm gonna use the example of CS and Overwatch in a bit, but let me just explain the professional side as well. Now, the professional side of things, you have them trying to host a bunch of tournaments, and of course they have all the agent tweaks, like the chamber nerf all way back when, Astra, everybody, Jet, whatever. They keep on trying to tweak the agents to balance the game, and that's okay. But the fact that they are trying to continually add more agents, it makes it so that the meta could never truly be balanced or satisfied. Now, of course, this is what's happening in Overwatch as well. They're adding too many heroes, and the meta can never be balanced. But there is a difference, and I just wanted to. I'll talk about that later as well. But let me just go over the essentially the S tier LAN results for Valorant. Now, Valorant is 5 years old, which is and I've heard the argument that, I mean, Valorant is still a new game and that it needs time to get off its feet. But the fact that I'm gonna use CS:GO as a example here, but the fact that CS:GO in 2018, which is more like around 5 years after its release, had like constant results from the same teams. I don't think that's what it is. It's not a new game anymore, Valorant. And if you look at the S tier events, I know that they're split up into regions, but if you look at the S tier LAN results, it's always different teams. And even if there's like some repeat teams, there's like only one instance of a repeat team at like the highest level. And if you play CS, the Masters events are essentially majors, and these are kind of like like lower tier ESL events, still S tier events, but just not as high. Now, there was like, I don't know, like one repeat back in 2023 with Fnatic, but that is literally about it. If you look at all the Masters and Champions events, they have always had different results. Now, of course, there's like Fnatic, which has had pretty constant results, but that's about it. Now, Launders, a CS2 caster, has once said that if something along the lines of, if an S tier, or if an esport in its S tier events has a different champion every time, then that implies some sort of randomness. And it is true. If some different team wins their S tier every single time, it's not consistent. It's not, or either that or the skill ceiling is too high. But I think with Valorant, it's not. And you can see with kind of like hitboxes, easy to use utility, just like kind of basically lower time to kill than in the other FPS games. Now, another problem I'm thinking of with how they're leaning kind of in the middle and kind of torn between esports and casual is the fact that there's not a lot of S tier events that are being held, and I understand, yeah, they might be expensive to hold, but dude, this is like in all of 2025, dude. Look at this. This is 2025 tournaments in CS. 2025 alone. Look at this. Blast Bounty Spring 2025, Intel Extreme Magic Katowice, Cluj Polka, ES EPL Season 21, Blast Open Spring. It's an insane amount. Like, and just so you know, all of these events are international, not just regional. And if you take a look at the Valorant international events, you at least in 2025, the ones we've had so far, we've had two: Toronto 2025 and Bangkok 2025. Essentially, those are majors, and I mean that's okay. We've had one major in 2025 so far, and we're gonna have another one. But the fact that only the highest level of play is international is kind of crazy. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 international events in the highest level of play in Counter-Strike in this year. And of course, I mean, CS is kind of like an actual sport, but this is kind of like, I feel like the format you want to be following. And the fact that there's just so little in so far in 2025, there's like what, 10, but like the regional, I'm pretty sure they're regional at least. It's kind of cooked as an esports. Now, sure, you might be saying, but Valorant is a harder game objectively. Bro, listen, if it's a harder game, why are there no like solid teams except for like maybe one? And even then they can't even string together any first place finishes. It's kind of cooked, right? Now, let's look over to the CS2 side, and most prominently this year, Vitality. Look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events won. Now, I'm not sure how true this is, but from what I heard, the only events that they didn't win was because they didn't attend it. Now, of course, they did lose Cologne recently, but having an era for 6 months is ridiculous. Now, if you scroll back down a little further down to the rest of the results we've had back all the way in CSGO, it's about the same. 2018, or okay, well, 2018 you got Astralis. For the first half of 2019, you've had Liquid. Now in 2021 we had Navi and Gambit also kind of, but it was like in CSGO and CS2 you're generally able to sense more eras, if you may, even though they might not happen for long, but you'll be able to see strings of S tier LAN event wins from these teams. Now, I mean, there's also like a stint from FaZe here where they won the Grand Slam, and of course Liquid with the Grand Slam all the way in 2019, and also I'm pretty sure Navi with the Grand Slam. Now, if you scroll all the way back as well, Fnatic, Envious, Fnatic, TSM, LDLC, you see the same teams over and over again. And also NiP, you know, that 67 game win streak. It's just how it is. I mean, in Valorant, you don't really see too much. And the fact that I can, like, essentially see all their S tier events in one single scroll is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. I can't even... Alright, well, technically, I still went back 5 years. But the fact that one single scroll like accounts for more tournaments, because this format is more compressed than this. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm lying. I'm delusional. All right, whatever. But you can see from the esports side of things, from the results, that it's inconsistent in Valorant, and that is kind of a testament to why I don't think Valorant is a good enough esports. Now, more about the esports, I feel like okay, I'm going to compare Valorant to CS and Overwatch here. Now, I can't speak too much about Overwatch esports, but I can speak more about the genre of the game. Now, CS and Valorant have an extremely similar genre of a game. Like, it's a bomb site game. It's essentially the same. You're put into a map with a 5v5, and you have utility to make things happen. Now, I kind of utility side of things, let's just talk about that for a second. Valorant and CS is completely different. Now, if you were to compare the Valorant utilities to some other game, it would be closer to Overwatch. Because, I mean, listen, Overwatch has 41 heroes, while Valorant has 27. It's close. Now, you're going to be like, hey, but what's the problem? See, Valorant's just similar to Overwatch. Yes, but that's not good. Valorant... The format of a Valorant game is the exact same as CS. There's two bomb sites. You need to find one. You need to plant a bomb and you need to explode it. Or there's two bomb sites. You need to defend it, prevent the terrorists from taking the bomb site, and win the round or kill all of them. Overwatch is so different. Sure, it might still be a 5v5 or a 6v6. I don't know if they made it 6v6 again, but it's so different. The pacing of the game is different. If you die once in a round, your round is not over, unlike in CS and Valorant. Now, of course, you can have heals and reses, but it's generally, if you die, your round is over. You're cooked until next round. And Overwatch, you respawn. And because of that, the pacing of the game is so much faster, and the utility scales to that. It's overpowered. It's like it's overpowered. That's all I can say to it. Like there, you can resurrect people. You have bombs that could insta kill people, and I'm talking about Junkrat here. You got, or I mean, also Diva ult technically, and you got like big katana people, fast katana people, and you like Overwatch as well. The DPS players or the DPS heroes, they have a lot of mobility. They're really fast. Genji can dash. Echo can fly. I haven't played this game in a while. Where am I going? This person got the flintlock pistol from Fortnite. McCree. I'm not calling him Cassidy. McCree got dash or slide. Soldier 76, bro. He got the sprint. He's the closest CS character, and you can kind of see it's everybody has either higher mobility or higher health or just sustainability and like healing and whatever, mobility and like running, whatever teleports, whatever, Reaper as well, and health. And you can kind of see that the time to kill is generally a bit higher because of all of the sustaining utility, health, and whatever. But in Valorant, let's take that utility from Overwatch and bring it over to Valorant. It's so different because, okay, let's take a look at CS first, okay? Oh, I don't have CS info, but if you think about it just for a tad bit, CS, your round is over once you died. As I said before, time to kill is generally pretty low, and it's a slower paced game. Just because it's a 5v5, if you die, your round is over. And you know, Valorant's the exact same. But what if you put the Overwatch util in the Valorant game? Now that's even worse, because you're taking overpowered utility and bringing it into a slower paced game. Now of course that's gonna, like, you know, change the pace and make it a bit faster, but the fact that the Vandals still have a one-shot kill, and the only way you can respawn is if you have a Sage ultimate or one of your ultimates, is cooked, because now the time to kill is even lower. The skill ceiling is lower. I mean, listen, okay, Overwatch can get away with adding an insane amount of agents because at the end of the day, there still consists of a skill ceiling. Most of the heroes in Overwatch require you to aim and track. In Valorant, that isn't so. There's a tiny little bit, but in FPS games, the type of FPS game that Valorant and CS are, is the fact that you don't have to track enemies. Just think about it. You have the Vandal and AK, I guess, insta headshot kill. You got the Phantom and the A1S. Yes, headshot, 1 HP, and you just need 2 shots. It's not a game that's like Overwatch. I just don't know any other games because I'm not that smart, but you know, whatever. You get what I mean. In Overwatch, you actually have to track with some characters. Soldier 76, kind of Diva, kind of Ramatra. Not really Reinhardt, but you get what I mean. There exists a skill ceiling because everything is crazier in that game. So crazy is the norm, but if you're bringing crazy into normal, it's bad. Now, I kind of made an equation for this, which doesn't really make sense, and I haven't really kind of worked out the kinks in it, but sorry, I don't have it open. But essentially, skill ceiling or time to kill can be determined by 2 separate factors, and that's endurance and power. Now, of course, it doesn't work perfectly, and mostly used. I think it's mostly applicable in FPS games, but if you take the endurance of a hero, agent, individual over the power of an individual, you get the skill ceiling or the time to kill, essentially. Now, let's start with CS. CS, when comparative to Overwatch and Valorant, has objectively the weakest agents or individual endurance. And it's just 100 health and then Kevlar and helmet. And it doesn't even take all the damage, it absorbs damage. So that's that. I mean, Valorant, it takes damage for you with the shield and helmet. Or with full shields for 1,000 creds. I don't really remember, but you know what I mean. And the power aspect, yes, it's much weaker. Well, it is still pretty strong, but there's like hitboxes are smaller in CS. Utility is weaker, and sure, there's still one-tap headshots, but that's only for 4 guns, which is 2 snipers, a pistol that is high skill ceiling because it's hard to use and there's low amount of bullets and you have to be still for that, which is a deagle, and the AK is kind of the norm. Now movement is also much faster in that game, which also kind of decreases power because it makes it harder to shoot. Now objectively, if there were to be quantified into numbers, it would be a 1 and a 1. So as I said, a 1 over 1 is a 1 in skill ceiling, and my definition of skill ceiling, at least for just the convenience of this, is that if it can be quantified into a number from 0 to 1, 1 would be the highest, 0 would be the lowest. Now skill ceiling can also equate to time to kill, and stuff like that, like hardness of the game. Now it's not a perfect reasoning, but it is good enough where it'll help me and favor me to prove why Valorant is a bad video game. But now let's look at Overwatch. Overwatch is an objectively crazier game. Harder, maybe, I don't know, but it's just hard. It's an essentially different. It's so different from CS. It's almost a different genre, but it's still very similar. It's a first-person shooter. First-person shooter enough at the very least. But if you think about it, mobility is a lot higher, and endurance, mobility, I feel also kind of favors endurance, and it's more on the endurance side more than the power. And endurance so high in Overwatch, as I just said earlier. Mobility, durability, and sustainability. You got heals, reses. I mean, there's an entire class of people who just heal people. In Valorant, you got heals as well, but not any dedicated healers. Just some. And then you got the power. Dog, hammer down, suffer as I have. Okay, I don't know. I've always thought Valorant was cool because they use different language voice lines in like the game, but you get what I mean. Their heroes are just so much more overpowered. This person cleanses everybody and makes everybody faster and goes overpowered. This person starts sucking everybody. No, this person starts sucking everybody. This person just brings it down. This person bombs everything. I've never played with these 3 in. This person massive bomb. This person also crazy impact. This person another bomb, big katana. I don't know who that is. And then Sova ult right here. You get what I mean? It's crazy. Now if they were to be quantified into numbers, once again it would be 5. It would be a 5 to 5, and that would be a lot. And is that harder than CS? Maybe, but based off of the equation or formula that I created, endurance over power equals skill ceiling. No, it's still a 1, just like CS. Now, stay with me here. Let's go to Valorant. Now, Valorant, the endurance and the power. Oh wait, no, hold on. The power scales to Overwatch power, while the endurance scales to CS2 Go endurance. Now, that's bad, because if we plug it in, or I mean, it's similar. It's similar, but a little less. It's a little more toned down. So instead, if I were to quantify endurance and power into numbers, endurance would be a 2 while power would be a 4. And once you get the result, you get a 0.5. Lower, worse. Higher skill ceiling. See this? Now, it's not a perfect reasoning once again, but you understand what I mean. The lower it is, the worse, and the lower skill ceiling it is. Now, I'm going to say this one more time, and I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's not a perfect reasoning, but this reasoning supports whatever this is. Just look at the S tier event winners in 2025, right? Once again, Heretics, Paper X, Fnatic. I've never heard of this team before. XLG, G2, Tier 1. Vitality, TRX, G2, Edward Gaming. One repeat in 2025, guys. Look at this. Even in S tier events when there's like no clear winners, 2024. Navi, Vitality. Oh, no Vitality repeats, but G2, Spirit, Mouse, another G2, Phase, Spirit again. 2024, guys. This is 2024 past. Look at CSGO 2023. Vitality. Phase. Vitality. Heroic. I honestly don't know how Heroic when they were kind of actually with Katie, and that makes sense. But you get what I mean. This line of reasoning, even though it's not perfect and you can find holes in it, supports the results. Now, that's essentially why I think Valorant is a bad esport. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's trying too hard to be an esport, but it's not leaning completely in the esports direction. And that's kind of why I don't really like Riot a lot, because they're butchering their FPS. They keep on adding more agents that disturb the balance. And it's kind of cooked. And it's... They got like half of the hand stuck in the cookie jar, half not. And they're like, do I want to... What do I want to do? It's kind of cooked. Now, if that was my only argument, it would be already strong enough to make a case for myself, or make a case for why Valorant sucks. But there is another one. Now, I haven't really worked this out, but I think one of the reasons why Valorant has a lower skill ceiling is because of the importance of information. Now, this formula that I've created only applies to endurance and power. Now, what about the other factors? Now, the important factor that I'm trying to talk about is information. Now, in every single game, or in CS and Valorant, information is so important. Overwatch, less so, because it's so much more brawly. But in Valorant and CS, very, very important. Now, I feel like even though information is just so important, Valorant kind of tosses that down the drain and just says like, let's cook it, give everybody information. Now, what I mean by that is there's just some stuff I can name on the top of my head. It's like essentially pinging, being able to open your map and see anything. That's a little bit nitpicky, but as opposed to CS, you can't always open your map until you're dead. Oops, my alarm rang. Wow. Sorry, I was supposed to wake up at 8 a.m. It's just 8 a.m. right now, but as I was saying, the fact that you're able to open your map whenever to see where things are and ping stuff on the map, like just being able to click it, is so stupid. I mean, as I was saying, the price of information in Valorant is just objectively lower in Valorant, and you can kind of see that in the game as well. Now, skill level, also paired with skill level of utility, you have darts and ways to obtain information without ever being like risking yourself to die. Just think about it. Sova or Teho, you got the drone. This is such an overpowered agent, by the way. I don't know why they ever added it. No skill at all. Gecko, Wingman, you got the flashy oopy goopy guy. Chamber. Okay, even Sentinels. The fact that you're able to know when a person is coming onto your site, or you being able to find out which person is where because of your utility, is so goofy. The skill ceiling is so low, and you're gonna be like, ooh, I mean, the fact that you're able to use your utility smartly teaches you how to have a higher skill ceiling, because it teaches you to evade that util. No, bro, listen. If you have an agent that gives you literal wall hacks, that is so stupid, bro. And you're gonna also be like, but in CS:GO, can't you also like clear stuff with utility? Yes, but it doesn't give you wall hacks, bro. And your utility does not recharge, bro. It's just so bad. The genre of CS and Valorant are the exact same, yet the utility is just so much overpowered. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself because I don't have a script, but you kind of understand my frustrations on why it's so bad. And skill ceiling, utility wise, objectively is worse and easier to use. Just think about it, bro. Opening launchpad to click smokes on the map. You can click your smokes on the map and you can put them down. There's no lineups, no nothing, no banking it off or whatever. Or like KO. Okay, not KO. I mean, KO's the closest to CS. I don't know why I literally flamed him up for that. KO's chill. Chamber as well. But listen, bro. The fact that you're able to just point where you want to smoke and be able to shoot your utility in a game where a skill ceiling is imperative when there's already no skill ceiling is crazy, bro. Like, you don't even have to bounce your flash from most of the agents. You just guide where you want them to go, and they're blind. Gecko, toss them up, and there's no bounce, no nothing. And then the utility is insanely easy to use. The information is completely free. It's a low skill ceiling game because time to kill is already so low, especially when you have guns that are insanely easy to use and hitboxes that are big. The skill ceiling that people are gonna argue is in the strategy. And yes, I agree to that to some extent, but if you can't even argue, or if you can't even make a case for, like, the gunplay, the agents, or anything else overall, strategy is so cooked. It's such a cooked argument to say, because, oh, maybe the strategy is where the skill ceiling lies. Yeah, sure. And maybe you have to adapt, and I'm sure you have to. But listen, man. Even in the strategy, it's still RNG to some extent. Now, because there's 27 agents, you literally cannot switch your agent mid-game, unlike, another game that has the same format. The 5v5 at the beginning of the game, sure, you can read your opponents in like S tier, but there's always the chance that they pull a curveball and pick the agents that you weren't expecting. And what do you have to do then? Nothing, bro. You have nothing to counter that. Sure, you have what you have already picked, but you can't even change your agent to acclimate and adapt to the enemy. It's kind of so stupid. It's bad. And sure, yeah, the stakes may be higher because the util is easier to use, and one wrong move or one lucky piece of utility will just cook an entire team. Listen, when the game is objectively easier, saying the skill ceiling lies in the strategy is not a good argument overall. And once again, this argument supports this. There's RNG results every single time. Nobody is ever able to hold their title for long. And you can kind of remember this back in 2021. Sentinels, we thought they were going to be the best team in Valorant. Guess what? They only won one S tier event, which was international. I don't even know if they had the regionals, but you get what I mean. Tens, we thought he was going to be the best player in Valorant. And guess what? He was only there for like 2 years, and he kind of fell off afterwards. Now, even the NA pros that went from CS to Valorant, they were struggling in CS, but they were able to make a decent name for themselves in Valorant. That is a testament to how much easier of a game Valorant is, and how at least the skill ceiling is higher in CS. Now, I can't speak for Overwatch once again, because I haven't gotten to the esports a lot, but, I bet it's much harder than Valorant as well. But yeah, wow, I spent 30 minutes ranting. I need some water. But yeah, I hope you guys kind of get what I'm saying. But yeah, thank you for listening. I hope I wasn't too stupid and I didn't rant too hard. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.